Long ago, the Vanished united the galaxy. And then, they disappeared. Now their secrets stir once more. And with them, something that should have stayed buried. A team of survivors steps into the unknown, exploring the relics of lost worlds, mastering the technology left behind. Each mission, a new world. Each world, a new fight for survival. Every choice echoes through time. Every mission reshapes the fate of the galaxy. But the Vanished left behind more than power. They left behind their enemies. A new world awaits. Phantom Epoch returns. The fight begins anew. Back now on Kickstarter. Thank you for your support. Back now on Kickstarter. Thank you for your support.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Looks like we have a few people here. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, so I'm not sure how to see how many people we have here, but I see some comments, which is cool. Thanks for joining. Thought we'd start off with that video before you had to see my ugly mug. Thanks for joining. Thanks again for joining. If you have any questions, want to know anything more about Phantom Epoch, want to know anything more about Dotira Games, the Kickstarter, just pop it in the chat. I'll keep an eye on it and answer any questions. And I thought in the meantime, maybe we could take a look at the Kickstarter preview page before I hit launch. Oh, that's good to know. Thank you. Let's see if we can get rid of that. That's good to know. Thank you. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Is that any better there? Or now? Yeah, computer audio is off. Hopefully this is better. Let me know if not. Okay, cool. Awesome, thank you. All right, so let's take a look at the preview page, and we'll just scroll down and see if we can get through it before we hit launch at 9. So first off, this is going to be my third time hitting launch on a Kickstarter now. The first time, just my wife was here with me, and she clicked launch at the same time, and that Kickstarter went all right, but we ended up having to cancel it. The second time, I was even more nervous, and I wanted to just be by myself when I clicked launch, just in case. And then that one went pretty well. And now this time, like an idiot, I decided to broadcast to everyone. We'll see how it goes having everyone along. All right, so the first couple times we didn't have this bookmark on the Kickstarter page, the bookmarks on the side, which is really nice. I used to hate having to scroll forever to get through a Kickstarter, our own included. Now being able to click exactly what we want when we want it is a huge upgrade on Kickstarter. We got our hero image here, which we changed last minute based on a seminar at Gamma that talked about only getting 1 or 2 scrolls on a Kickstarter before someone decides whether they want to keep looking or not. And so we started it off with this cool graphic of the boss of Exiles of Volan, Shay Lang. So this is the new boss for the expansion. And then we wanted to show a couple of the things that were unique to Phantom Epoch. So we got a nice photo of the mission books here, we got the HP bases, and then highlighting the 5-minute setup with the deluxe edition inserts. That's, I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think that's pretty unheard of in a deep campaign game like this, to be able to get it to the table that quickly. And 5 minutes isn't, it might seem like an exaggeration, but it's really not. We've timed it multiple times, not even racing, but just getting it to the table. And yeah, it gets to the table in 5 minutes, which for me is huge. I can't leave games out on the table. I have a young child, so got to be able to get it off and on the table. So we're excited about that. Then we got our 8.9 on Board Game Geek, and just yesterday we added this small little footnote here that's as of March 9th. We've kind of been hovering between 8.8 and 8.9. And yesterday we started, I think we started the day at 8.8 yesterday and went up to 8.9 by the end of the day. And so yeah, hopefully it stays around 8.9 for the duration of the Kickstarter. We'll see. This is something that I'm super excited about. This is brand new as of this weekend. Just reading the comments here. I'm not good at multitasking. Cool. Yeah, it's good to know that I'm not lying when I say that I think it's the only one. I'd be curious to know what the one other one is that's similar. But yeah, as of this weekend, we talked to some translators for French and Spanish translations, and we're super excited because both those languages, probably French has been the #1 most requested edition, and then Spanish is #2. German is #3. We would love to have a German edition, so if anyone here knows of a German publisher or translator, make sure to shout us out to them. We got our How Phantom Epoch Plays here, and the action point system. So this is something that's kind of hard to show in a Kickstarter, but it's also one of the things I'm most proud of about Phantom Epoch. The action point system, where you can choose how many cards you play, kind of how powerful your turn is, but you're going to go late if you play a lot of cards. Whereas if you play just one card, maybe low AP, then you can go early before all the bad guys go. And I feel like that push and pull is something that's really dynamic in Phantom Epoch, and it makes everybody's play style different. Like, it's interesting with playtesters to see who really loads up on their AP every turn versus who kind of spreads their cards out, goes longer before needing to rest, but goes faster than the enemies, maybe a little bit weaker turns. Fate Forge, I'm going to have to check that out for the fast setup time. Thanks for shouting that out. Yeah, so it's something hard to show on a Kickstarter image like this. I think our graphic designer, John Merchant, he did a good job of a difficult task with this. Then we have the dice, and I'm going to just talk about fumbles for a second, because the one piece of criticism that we heard over and over and over again about the first edition was the fumbles. People hated fumbles. A lot of people didn't mind fumbles. They understood why the game included fumbles the way it did, and it didn't bother them. But a lot more people really hated the fumble system. And just to be a little bit transparent, when I first started designing Phantom Epoch, I did not want a miss system. Like, I hated in other games when I had a turn planned out and a miss wrecked it for me. So it was kind of crazy that I went from that to not only missing, but then not being able to perform any additional attacks. But in Phantom Epoch, you really kind of build your turns around the possibility of a fumble, both in the way you build your character, the dice that you choose to roll, the attacks that you choose to take with you into a mission and into a given turn. But with the new fumble mechanic, rather than kind of nerfing that, making it much easier, what it does is it gives players a choice. So when you roll a fumble, instead of, yeah, 8.9 on Board Game Geek is pretty mind-blowing considering how many people hated the fumbles. That's true. I would highlight comments, but again, I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't even know how to do that. I'll have to have Steve give me a crash course later. But yeah, so instead of wanting to flip the table when you roll a fumble now, your first reaction isn't to get mad. It's, okay, how do I make the right decision in this circumstance to make the best of a bad roll? And the way that you can choose to convert it to 0, but you get knocked down, like, that's something that you can plan around before a mission, between missions. That's something in the way you build your character. That's something you can plan each individual turn around. Maybe I want to bring extra movement on my turn so I can stand up if I choose to get knocked down. That's something that you can that you can build around or choose around when you're choosing what die to roll. And then even after you roll and that fumble comes up, you have a choice. So it's all about giving players more agency. And that's something that, especially early game before the mitigation came out, that's something that the original was lacking. Fumbles, you can mitigate them, you could plan around them better later in the game once you get more equipment, more cards and stuff. But early game, there wasn't a whole lot you could do about it. But now there is. So I'm super excited about the fumble change, and it's felt so good in playtesting. All right, intelligent enemies. Probably should put an asterisk on intelligent there, but they do act individually, which is pretty cool. And they're kind of designed to not just be an object in the way of completing an objective, but to actually dynamically respond to situations, and to give more of a challenge. Now, classes and progression. This is, I mean, besides the AP system, the classes are something that I'm super proud of in Phantom Epoch, because each class, I think, and playtesting has borne out, plays very differently. And even within a class, 2, 3, 4 different people are going to play that class entirely different. And one of my favorite examples of this is the Ranger. So in playtesting, most of the playtesters avoided creating a Gralic Ranger because they didn't like having the lower AP. They felt like it really hampered them as a Ranger. But me personally, the Gralic Ranger was my favorite. And the reason for that is because when you can convert a low AP card into a +1 attack with range, that's pretty fantastic. So for me, when I play the Ranger, and I'm not playtesting, I'm just playing how I like to play, I love the Gralic Ranger. I play a few cards, convert them into powerful attacks at low AP, go first, and take out enemies, whereas other people play completely differently. And that's something that really excites me. I noticed that my chat pop-up isn't moving anymore, so I've missed a bunch of messages here. Ah, cool. I need to keep an eye on a different window now to make sure I don't miss any questions. All right, this is taking me longer to go through than I expected, and we're almost at lunchtime. But just quickly, the one-shot gameplay. That's something a lot of people that even own Phantom Epoch don't know about, that you can play one-shot. So the training missions, check those out. They're one-shot playable. They're cool because the difficulty you choose depends how you can build your character for that one-shot. And it's a great way of trying different classes. If you have friends that don't want to commit to a full campaign, one-shots are the way to go. And that's something we didn't advertise very well, but it's there. And despite the way it was presented, it's not just a side thought. Like it's a viable way of playing. And one last thing before I switch over to the launch page, I won't talk about it much, but make sure you check out the community goals on the Kickstarter page when we launch, because we have some really exciting guest designers lined up. So if we can unlock some of these, we're going to get guest designers focusing on indie devs like us, who will be creating print and play one-shot missions. So let's make sure we unlock as much of this as possible, because I'm really excited about some of the ideas they've already shared with me. All right, on that note, let's switch to the I'm Ready to Launch tab. 1 minute to go. I better get the seconds up here. 45 seconds. I think when I click I'm ready to launch that there's another screen after that. I might launch a little bit early by mistake. We'll see what happens here. But I'll click it now. Good, good. We do have a confirmation. All right. 20 seconds. I hope you all are as nervous as I am. Thank you. My wife just came in to wish me good luck. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. First backer gets free shipping. I forgot to mention that. There we go. Congratulations. Your project is live. So I'll just talk a little bit about the goal here. I know a lot of people hate what feels like artificially low goals. This isn't an artificially low goal. It is a low goal. Like we couldn't produce, if this was our only funding, we couldn't produce Phantom Epoch at this price. It wouldn't be possible. But it's not our only funding. If we only get 48,930 Canadian dollars, yes, I'm looking at Canadian here. Everyone else is going to see US dollars. It's still getting made. So it's not an artificially low goal, but it does look like it is, which I totally get. But it is real. It's getting made. If we hit this goal, Phantom Epoch, Exiles of Volan, all the extra goodies, the new classes, it is getting made. So, and that's thanks to the first Kickstarter. Thank you, everyone, for supporting us on this journey. It has been a journey. Started off first Kickstarter, just me. Now the team's grown a little bit. Actually, let me rewind that a little bit. I shouldn't say the first Kickstarter was just me. I had amazing artists, amazing graphic designers, amazing people in the community helping me out. So it wasn't just me. It was just me that was officially part of Dotira Games is all. 10 backers already. This is exciting, everyone. Thank you so much for your support. I'm going to switch to a different window. I don't want to dox anyone, so I'm going to switch to a different window. And let's find out who backer number 1 was. If I can remember how to get that information. Backer report. Our first backer, he was tricky. He did a $1 pledge, and I think that's probably so that he could get in first and up it after. But that was smart. Van in Germany is backer number 1. So I'll make sure to reach out to you. I don't know if you're on the stream right now, but you will get free shipping for whatever you end up with. All right, we'll keep going for a few minutes longer on the stream. Anyone have any questions? Any comments while I keep streaming? I can just also keep scrolling through the page. Gonna take a look at the Gambler add-on here. Why Kickstarter and not GameFound? That is a fantastic question. That was a tough choice. Honestly, that was a tough choice. As a backer, I like GameFound, honestly. We had launched the previous 2 projects on Kickstarter, which got us past the first-time creator tag. So we wanted to, with this one, with the second printing, the main reason was we wanted with the second printing to just stick on the same platform. No more first-time creator tag. Now people looking at the Kickstarter aren't wondering, is this actually a real product? Like they can see photos of it. They know it's on tables around the world. So for this, we wanted to just stick to the same platform rather than introducing more variables that we weren't sure of. In the future, there's a good chance that we'll make the switch over to GameFound. But as an indie creator, still getting going, still learning a lot. We just wanted to stick with something familiar to us for this particular campaign. But we have had a lot of people ask for us to move to GameFound, so we're absolutely taking that into consideration for future projects. Let's see, who was the first proper backer? Let's see, number 2, Luis Rodriguez was number 2 with an actual pledge. Let's see, going back to the questions. Can you talk about the neoprene mat? I'm a sucker for play mats. Yeah, so that's actually something that we're not really showing on the Kickstarter page, and we should be. So in the deluxe edition of Phantom Epoch, let's see, let me scroll up here. All right, we have these adversary trays where you lay out the adversaries with their description card, their species and class cards, and the trays work great. But we do also have an adversary neoprene playmat, which is included for free with most of our bundles. So definitely take advantage of that. It's a really nice mat that just lays things out for up to, oh, I might get this wrong. I think 5 adversaries, possibly 4. I think it's 5 rows. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. But enough that you're probably never going to overflow on it. It feels good. It fits on the table nicely next to the mat. And yeah, it's just great for keeping your adversaries organized. And it has a spot for the boss action cards as well. Anything planned for Epoch after this, or is this the end of the story? Yes, there's more planned for Phantom Epoch after this. Absolutely. It's not the end of the story at all. Can the additional enemy standees fit in the deluxe box? Oh, that's a tough one. Probably not. If they maybe could, but it would be a tight fit. There is a really nice tray that was also made by Black Magic, just like the deluxe edition ones, for Exiles of Volan. It's the same size as your resource tray that goes on the table when you're playing missions, so you can even stack them or just put them side by side, but it was designed to be just as accessible as these trays while playing a mission. So yes, I don't know. It's tight. It's tight. The standees might fit in the core box, but the tray is really nice. Let's see. I think I've caught up on the questions here. So I should probably talk about the deluxe edition versus the core edition here. So core edition is new to this Kickstarter. It is a little bit different than the standard edition last time around. It's we wanted to have an entry point that was cheaper than the deluxe edition. We did everything in our power to get it under $100, and that was tough. Paul in the chat, the Doterra Games COO slash product director slash thing number 2 slash whatever you want to call him, he worked really hard on the core edition to shave things down from the deluxe edition to make it as cheap of an entry point as possible. For the Kickstarter, we did manage to get it just under $100, but that if there is a retail edition of it, of which there's absolutely no guarantee there will be, it probably won't be under $100. It's just not feasible. But despite not having the premium trays and stuff, he did a great job with the inserts of it. You're probably not going to get a 5-minute setup and teardown time, but it is organized quite nicely. There's not miniatures, just standees. There's not class tuck boxes. Instead, all the class components will be in envelopes. There's not a dual-layered Starship upgrade board. Instead, there's Starship upgrade cards, not boss boards. Instead, there's boss cards. And instead of the magnetic species cards and, slight spoiler alert, magnetic cybernetics, those are just card and punch board. So it is a cheaper entry point. The deluxe edition, for anyone that cares enough to be on this stream, you're probably going to want the deluxe edition. That's the way Phantom Epoch is meant to be played, but the core edition is like, Paul did a great job on it. It is a viable entry point for Phantom Epoch. So, yeah. Let's check the chat again. How many new adversary species and classes in the new campaign content? So there are no new adversary classes, but there are 2 new adversary species. Let's just go to the components. There's new map books. We have the Volan, Trained and Wild Beasts. We have the Volanin adversary species. And then we also have more others. So in the core game, we only ever saw the other scouts. We have some more others in the expansion. More affordable, not cheaper. That's right. The core edition is more affordable. It's in no way cheap. It's more affordable. I am a sucker for good storage. Me too. What Bryce at Blackmagic did with the storage on the core game is incredible. Like, I said that one of my favorite things is one of the things we highlighted is the 5-minute setup and teardown. Like, I can't take credit for that. I told Bryce what I wanted, and he made it happen. Like, he's incredible. So look out for Blackmagic inserts for sure, because they're great. Let's see. I said I was going to talk about the Gambler. So the Gambler is super exciting to me. And basically the Gambler came about because when people were talking about how it felt like their dice were weighted towards fumbles, I just had the random throwaway comment, wouldn't it be cool if there was a class in a game that actually had weighted dice and was designed around that? And so I wasn't sure how possible that was going to be with a D8. And it turns out it's really hard to make a weighted D8. But through a lot of discussions and a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Samples from Longpack, our manufacturer, we made it happen. So the Gambler, technically the Scoundrel, includes a weighted blitz attack die, which I think is pretty cool. So it is weighted towards crits, not towards fumbles, don't worry. Can be evil at times, but not that evil. Let's see. But because the Scoundrel got that weighted die, I wanted every class in the Gambler add-on to have its own physical component. So there's also a D12 for the Gambler starting class, which is pretty cool because it has crits and fumbles with different values on it. So you might fumble, but you might still get a 3 along with that fumble, so you still do damage. Or you might crit, and it's a crit, but it might only be a value of 1, or it might be a value of 4. And then the Hot Shot, which uses a metal coin. It really leans into high risk, high reward with that coin. We got some more questions here. Question from Discord, why does the OG bundle have an adversary mat? Is it different from the core one? That's a good question. It's not different from the core one. It's the same one. A lot of original backers, OG backers, didn't end up with an adversary mat. So for those that did, it is going to be a duplicate mat. But for those that didn't, you're going to get a mat. Oh, thank you, Biodelic. You're making me blush here. Let's see. I've never heard of an actual weighted die in any board game. Such a cool concept. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I was super excited about it. When I made that throwaway comment about how cool that would be, like, I didn't think it was going to be possible. But I'm really glad that it turned out that it was. The Gambler is a lot of fun to play. The Martial Artist and Energist, the other two new classes, and just for the Kickstarter, the Energist and the Martial Artist are included with Exiles of Volan. When we sell from our website afterwards, if that ends up happening, they will be add-on bundles, so make sure to get a bundle with Exiles of Volan during the Kickstarter so that you can get those classes for free. And again, like, for the 4 starting classes, I think anyone who has the Arsonist knows that after getting the 4 kind of familiar classes, that people can just say, like, they see Warrior, Ranger, Rogue, Healer, and they immediately have an idea of what those do. And it was important to me as a first-time creator that the original classes were immediately familiar. But then with the Arsonist, branched out a little bit, made it a little bit more unique with what it does around the burning condition. And the Energist, Martial Artist, and Gambler are all the same. Like, they're very, very different than anything that, again, I personally, I can't say I know every game, but I personally have seen in any other games. So it's cool that thanks to the support in the first Kickstarter, the support with the first edition, it's given me the opportunity now to branch out and do even more cool things with what I'm creating. Do you think the new classes will be portable to a fresh campaign of OG Phantom Epoch, or that will they feel too powerful? They're absolutely portable. Yeah, they don't need to be played with Exiles of Volan. So Exiles of Volan, you can play the campaign independently, or you can play integrated with the core campaign. Now, I personally, not for balance reasons or anything like that, but I personally would recommend playing it independently only for the sake of it gives you more opportunity to try out new characters. But it plays very well integrated as well. And the Energist, Martial Artist, and Gambler, we did plenty of playtesting with them and in the core campaign. And yeah, they're absolutely portable. In fact, you can play them even if you don't have Exiles of Volan. Now, during the Kickstarter, that's not going to be possible because Exiles of Volan, the Energist, and the Martial Artist are all bundled together. The Gambler you could buy separately without Exiles of Volan. But yeah, they're playable even without the expansion, just in the core game. Yeah, so hopefully that answers that question. Any chance for an all-in-one box storage solution as a paid add-on? Paul's eyeing that question right now with eager eyes, I'm sure. Probably not for this second printing, but sometime in the future, when it's possible for us as a small indie dev trying to do lots of different things at the same time, that is something that we want to do for sure. And Paul's goal, I hope it's okay for me to say this, Paul's goal is for it to all fit in a Kallax, which would be a miracle if that happened. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We want a big box that holds everything. All right. I haven't even looked at where we're doing on the campaign yet. Let's scroll up. Let's see where we're at here. I said I was only going to go 15 minutes at 110 backers. That's amazing. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I said I was only going to go 15 minutes after the hour. It's now 17 minutes. I will talk about one more thing here. So we don't have regular stretch goals because actually just last week we submitted everything to our manufacturer to get the first print sample done. So this is going to be a lot faster of a turnaround than our last Kickstarter. Everything's ready to go, basically. We just need to approve the samples, and then we'll be diving straight into mass production once we have our final counts. So no stretch goals for what's actually coming in the box. As I mentioned, we do have community goals from with the support of guest designers for print and play one-shot missions that I'm super excited about. But we also have from Foreteller soundtrack achievement that we're hoping that we can unlock here. What this is going to be is it's going to be with Foreteller. Anyone who has the Foreteller narration, which again is included in most of our bundles anyways, is going to get this for free. It will be an original soundtrack crafted by Foreteller just for Phantom Epoch and Exiles of Volan. And they showed me some samples of what they've done on other products, what they're working on, and I'm really excited about this. I think it's really going to add a lot to the atmosphere. So fingers crossed we can unlock that goal during this campaign. All right. If there's no other questions, doesn't look like there is, I think I'm going to wrap it here. And I want to just tell you all thanks for joining me. I half expected that I would be alone on this live stream. So it's great seeing everyone here. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the questions. And thank you for following along. And we'll see you in a Kickstarter update very soon.